Hi, this is it. So my class starts in about a minute. So I just wanted to give you all some time to get online, get watching. Some really great content for you guys. And did I mention prizes? There will be prizes. So maybe I'll start there while I'm just waiting for everybody to get on. I know I started a little bit early. Let me tell you about the process it took to get live to you today. So last week I was thinking, my studio is going to be shut down and my kids were already home from school. So I was like, I'm going to have some downtime for a few weeks. And downtime, it's good for a little while, but I think what we're facing here is quite a while. And I think that, it's really good and it's really important to have something to do. So something to do for me, given the opportunity to stress, is going to be like watching the news constantly and checking my phone all the time to see what the updates are. But you know what? That's not healthy. I think I want to thank you for being here, because for me, I am an expert in photography, but something I'm not an expert in is going live on Facebook and recording video. And so we're all going to be figuring this out together. So I want to thank you, because this gives me an opportunity to also learn a new skill. I've done online classes for years for some universities, and we always have used platforms like Blackboard and Canvas, where it's all online. It's all, there's no video, there's no like live broadcasting or even video chat. So this is really going to be a chance for me to learn a new skill too. So welcome. I see that a bunch of you are online now, so thank you so much for being here. Let me tell you a little bit about kind of why we're doing this class and what the goals are. So a lot of you, we all take photos every day, right? We take photos with our phone. Some people have DSLR cameras, but we all take photos to document our lives. And I was kind of, after I planned to do this class, I was thinking, what would be the most relevant to people right now? Is it going to be like technical aspects of DSLR photography? That might be part of it. And we will cover that in one of the later classes. But I thought a good place to start is how you can use very simple technology to create interesting imagery that will be relevant to people right now and will give you something to do, frankly. So I also think this is a good chance to do something that's fun and inspiring and connect to people. So today's class is really just an introduction, but I'm planning on putting together, I have not completely planned it all out yet, but something like a Facebook group, or, I know a lot of my portrait clients are not on Facebook, so I've been trying to think of other ways that we could sort of have live chats and things like that. So if anybody has any ideas about that, please let me know. I've been looking at Zoom and posting things on my own website. And things like that. So, but I do really want this to be an interactive thing where you can connect with other people and talk about photography, which is very fun and very exciting. Hi, I see comments. Thank you guys for your comments. Hi, Addie. Hi, Laura. So something that's wonderful about photography is it's something that anyone can do. So I'm not going to lie, like DSLR photography with one of these big boys is not easy. It's very complex. It's very complicated. But iPhone and Android phones are pretty great. They can do a lot of things. But there are a lot of techniques and things that I can show you and tips that will help your iPhone and your cell phone photos to be of higher quality and be more interesting and actually document your lives and what you're going through right now. So like I said, we will talk a little bit about manual DSLR photography for those of you who are interested. But I think a good place to start is phones. So let me, now that a lot of you are here, let me talk about how to, keep in touch during this class. At first, when I posted it out, I sent out, I started a new email list through MailChimp. So those of you who are already subscribed to my email list, all you have to do is find any email from me, go down to the bottom and click on manage your preferences, and then make sure that you have checked the box that says photography education. So those of you who are signed up for the education list are going to be getting recaps of the class, more information on assignments I'm going to give you, and that is also how the prizes are going to be coming out. So let me talk about the prizes. So I like prizes. I like winning things, don't you? I never win anything, but I thought that so I was thinking, what is a way I can support, all of us small businesses. We're closed right now. We can't take clients. I can't see anybody in my studio for, who knows how long. So I was thinking what would be most relevant, and that could either be a gift card it's all going to be gift cards. So it might be a gift card to a local place here in Pittsburgh, but I know a lot of you are logging in from other places. So something I thought of, and tell me what you think about this, is we could do Amazon gift cards, because that's something that you could donate to a business or a person that is struggling. I know they're operating currently. They may have toilet paper at some point. I mean, we'll just wait and see. But I thought Amazon gift cards is just a really good prize that you can use yourself or donate to somebody else who's struggling right now. So let me know what you think of that, or if you know of a local business who is selling gift cards in the sub $100 range. Let me know, and I'll see about doing a giveaway from one of them. Okay. So let's see, I have tried to set up some questions. So a poll, I made a poll. It's not around anymore. Let me see if I can find, here it is. I have made a poll. I just posted it. It's what type of camera do you have? And some of you may have more than one camera. You may have more than one thing you're going to use, but I want to make sure I'm talking about things that are relevant to you all. So a DSLR is a camera. This is a professional one, but some of you might have like a Canon Rebel or a Nikon 3000 series, or something like that. So if you are using a DSLR, let me know, so I can make sure I'm providing content for you. And then we have a phone, of course. I have an iPhone 11. I just got this recently. I really love it. I love the camera functions on it. I know some of you are using Android. I'm not as familiar, but I'm assuming that they work in a really similar way, if not better than iPhone. And then also another type of camera you may have laying around is a point and shoot. So this is a camera I bought so long ago, I think 12 years ago. And it's really kind of good. It has manual function. But the reason this is a point and shoot is because the lens doesn't come on and off. So a DSLR, the lens comes on and off. You can change lenses. This one is actually a traditional a traditional DSLR, but a lot of people are using mirrorless DSLRs too. So I'm actually recording my class on my new Sony A7R III because it has a really great video function. And let me tell you something, it was easier to figure out how to create a video on my Sony camera than it was to go live on Facebook. So that's how difficult it can be to get your business live on Facebook. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, I am recording the whole class series. I know like I said, a lot of people aren't on Facebook. So I'm going to be hosting those on my website and possibly YouTube. I don't really know yet. So go ahead and just answer the poll and let me know, or you can just comment. If you want to comment and tell me the specific camera model you have, I'd be happy to help you with that specific model. So when it comes to a DSLR, they can do so many things, and I teach one-on-one classes about DSLR photography all the time. I usually do 3 or 4 a week, private lessons with people. And what I have found is the best approach to teaching a class about DSLR is to really hone in on the functions that are going to be relevant to you. So DSLR is like it's like Photoshop. It's like it does a million things, and you don't need to know how to do every single one. What you do need to know is how to do the things that are relevant to you. So So that brings me to my next question. What would you like to photograph? Do you want to photograph kids and babies? Do you have a pet you want to take photos of? Do you like to do, we're walking outside a lot, I hope. So would you like to be doing some still life and nature photos? And then, eventually we'll be traveling again. I have a big trip planned to San Diego to celebrate my mom's 70th birthday. That's in July, and I'm really, really hopeful that we'll still be able to go on that trip. So travel photography would be relevant, and it is something that you can practice right now. And I can give you techniques about how to practice photography for eventually when we're all traveling again. So thank you for putting in any info. If you missed the previous poll, what I asked was to share what type of camera you're using primarily. So, I have all of the above pretty much except for Android. And I use all of them for different things. But I just want to make sure I'm sort of gearing the content of the classes to what you're using. Okay. So since this is our introductory class, I wanted to talk about just sort of the main ideas of how photography works. So I'm not going to get too technical in this introduction. I'm just going to talk about sort of like what are the basic principles of how photography works. So let's see, I'll take my iPhone and my point and shoot camera. So both of these cameras have one or more lenses. So the iPhones now, and I think a lot of the Androids have multiple lenses built right in. So my iPhone has 3 lenses and they all do different things. So it's kind of the equivalent of taking lenses on and off of a DSLR camera and using them for different reasons. So this guy here has 1 lens. So regardless of how many lenses or what type of lens, the way photography works is your camera is going to either manually or automatically determine how much light is coming in through the lens, and then it's going to capture that amount of light for a correct exposure. So I say correct, kind of with a grain of salt, because it's not really, one of the things I love about photography is that you can do things a little bit incorrect for a creative effect. So for example, I'm a portrait photographer and I work a lot with babies and newborn babies. And I love that look where it looks light and bright and pretty. So a lot of the time I will very slightly overexpose my photos. So rather than having my meter go right to the middle, for those of you who know anything about manual photography, I will let it lean a little bit to the right, just because I like the whites to look white. I like skin tones to look natural, and that's just a style thing. So when I say correct, I mean, your camera is making a best guess at what it thinks the exposure should be based on the amount of light entering through the lens. So when you're using your phone to do photography, you don't have a whole lot of control over that type of thing. It's all automatic. There are a couple of functions that I'm going to show you that can kind of give you a little bit more control with your phone, but for the most part it's just like shooting an auto on an SLR. It's kind of the same thing. There may be some apps and things out there where you can do more manual type photography with an iPhone. I will look into that and I will let you know. Now when you're using an SLR camera, and you're shooting in manual mode, you have complete control over the exposure, how your image looks, whether you're over or underexposing. And so that's why if you're interested in doing more artistic and creative photography, a DSLR is really going to be the way to go. That said, we're going to be starting this class with some challenges of doing more creative photography, but with your phone. So something else I want to talk about is Instagram. So I'm a huge fan. Are you guys Instagram fans? Say hi if you are. I am a huge fan of Instagram. I've been on Instagram for, gosh, can't even remember, definitely longer than Facebook. And back when it started, I didn't have kids, so this was at least 9.5 years ago. I don't even, it was, anyways, Instagram started as a platform for doing creative things and sort of documenting your everyday with in a creative way. So now it's kind of transformed, so many times over the years. But now it's more of a place to, a lot of people are doing art on Instagram, but so many of us, and myself definitely included, it's more snapshots. I just looked at my Instagram feed, like my personal one, and it's all just snapshots of my kids, and the photography is I didn't even think about like lighting or composition or anything. I just, snapped photos of my kids doing funny things and posted it on there. And I'm not saying that we don't want to do that anymore. I'm just saying, like, what if we took this time that we have right now to use Instagram or whatever platform you like, hopefully Instagram, for the purposes of this class, to create more artful and interesting photos. What do you think? Should we try it? I say let's do it. Now there are a lot of other places to post your photos. There's Facebook. There's, Twitter. I don't know. But I feel like the reason I wanted to focus in on Instagram is that it's, it used to be all about photography. I don't know, the specific history of who started it or whatever, but I know that that's what it was about. And do you remember back when it first started, they had those like frames that looked like Polaroid film and like, different types of film. It's like kind of what it was about. It was like retro. So let's maybe, just for the purpose of this class, go back and try to do some of those things, document things in our everyday lives, but in a more interesting and creative way. Okay, any questions so far? Go ahead and put them in the comments, and if you guys have any questions about anything, I'll cover those at the end. Okay, so regarding Instagram, there's a lot of filters on there. You know what I'm talking about. So there's everything from like funny ears you can do, like, my kids love that stuff. But there's also like beauty filters. So I know I just discovered this recently. There's like, you can put a filter on your face so that your skin looks better. So a lot of those filters, with the exception of the animated ones with like the faces and stuff, a lot of those filters we can, they're replicating photography techniques. So I was thinking, what if we try to take photos that are great and do what the filter is doing, but real? I don't think I explained that very well, but hopefully you understand what I mean. So I think the first place to start is with lighting. So when you're using your iPhone camera or your cell phone camera or your point and shoot or your DSLR and auto, your camera is making all the decisions for you. So you can do certain things like zoom in and out, but something that you have a lot more control over is the lighting that you're using. So here are a few just really basic tips for phone photography. So first thing is you want the main light source to be right on your subject. So like if you're taking a photo of your kids, you want the window to be behind you. So you'll notice I have a window behind me, but that's because I have two really bright photography lights pointed at me so you can still see me. If I didn't have these lights on, I would be a silhouette essentially. So I want you to start by making sure that your light source is pointed at your subject and that there's not a big bright light in the background. So when your phone is taking a picture, it's taking into account all of the light that's in the entire scene. So if you're, like, say you're taking a photo of me right now, it's going to be looking at everything that's around me. I made sure to close the screen behind me and have nothing extremely light or dark so that, because I'm doing this just on my MacBook, so that it would get an accurate exposure on me. So you want the brightest light to be on the subject that's the most important to you. You don't want to have bright light behind them, or that's going to throw off your automatic exposure that your phone is doing. So let's start there. I also wanted to so a couple of other tips are lighting related. If you are outside, hopefully everybody has a little outdoor space that you can enjoy right now with your family. There are better times of day to take beautiful portraits of your kids. or your pets, or your, I see a lot of you are wanting to photograph kids and babies or people. So have you ever done a professional photography session? And if so, what time of day did you shoot your photos? Was it noon? Was it sunset, sunrise? I'd be willing to bet it was not right in the middle of the day. The reason that photographers do photo sessions in the very early part of the day or the very late part of the day is because that's when the lighting is the most beautiful. So, maybe the next sort of warm, not so rainy day, I don't know if we have one coming up, but hopefully there will be, sunlight peeking out one of these afternoons. Take your kids out and notice what direction the light is pointing. Don't have, when you're a professional photographer and you're doing manual photography, you can have the light source anywhere you want. But if you're just using a phone and you want to take a really nice photo of your kids, make sure the light is kind of pointing toward their face. So the best lighting is going to be diffused, but very bright light. So go ahead and try that. So that's going to be something I want you to think about as well. So anyway, we will be talking about more specific techniques for phones, point and shoot, and DSLR, but that's just a good place to start. If you're using window light, make sure that your back is to the window and that you're photographing toward your subject. And if you're outside, just pay attention to the direction of the light. If you're photographing your subject right in the middle of the day, out in the open, and the light is coming this way, they're going to have shadows here, and that's just not ideal. And then something else I see a lot of in people's snapshots is, like a lot of shadows. So like you might be, a sun is filtering through a tree or it's filtering through buildings or what have you. And that's impossible for an iPhone to read. It needs to be the same lighting on all of your subjects, and filtered is better. So kind of later in the day, early in the morning are really ideal times. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is give you an assignment. So there's a type of lighting called Rembrandt lighting. Rembrandt lighting is, it's mostly a studio technique. And can you guess where it came from? Can anybody guess? Have you ever heard of the artist Rembrandt? He used to do paintings where there was a really specific lighting style, so they named the technique after him. So the way that Rembrandt lighting works is you have the light source coming down toward your subject this way, and there will be a little triangle of light on their cheek. So after we're done with the class today, I'm going to post a few examples of Rembrandt lighting. And I want you to see if you can replicate that type of lighting on another human in your life or on yourself. So that's the challenge for today, is to create a photo of a person, or you can't really do this on pets. Kids are great. I've done Rembrandt window light portraits of my kids a million times, and I think they're just so beautiful. So I want you to take a photo of a person that you know in your life, that's quarantined with you right now or what have you, and then post it on Instagram. And then the hashtag for me to see it is going to be Missy Timko Art Challenge. So hashtag Missy Timko Art Challenge on that Rembrandt photo. Okay, so that's kind of all I wanted to cover today. I just wanted to give just a basic introduction on what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks. What we're going to be covering, and let me talk a little bit more about, because I see that there's a lot more of you here now. Let me talk a little bit more about how to get info about the class. So I sent out an email sign up, and there was a lot of confusion because a lot of you are already on my email list. All you have to do is go down to the bottom of any email that I've sent you through MailChimp, and there's a little button at the bottom that says update my preferences or something like that. Just click on that. They will send you an email and you'll have access to change your preferences. Just make sure that you check the box that says photography education, because I'm not going to be sending this out to my entire email list. I don't want to bother anybody who's not interested. And then another way to make sure that you're getting information is I'll also be posting any class updates or that kind of thing on the Facebook event. So it got kind of confusing. There's like a whole Facebook event that encompasses all 7 of the classes that I've planned, and then there's like an individual page for each one. So I don't know, try to, if you are planning to go to all of them, try to hit interested or going or whatever for each one, and that way you'll receive any updates that are relevant to that class. So our next class is going to be Tuesday, so that's in just a few days. I had to look. It's going to be in just a few days, and I'm going to be posting topics for each of the classes before Tuesday. I am a very experienced teacher. I used to teach high school for 12 years. I taught high school photography, art, painting, drawing, design. I taught AP art. I was the department chair for a while. So I'm going to be sitting down and writing out a bunch of brand new lessons for you. So before Tuesday, I'm going to have a list of topics so that you can come. You're welcome to come to all of them, of course. But if there are only specific topics that you're interested, that is fine too. Okay. So we're going to be doing a prize for this week's challenge. So remember, you're to be take a photo that's using Rembrandt lighting. I'll post a few examples, and I'll also share that to the email list of what Rembrandt lighting looks like. And I want you to just do your best. Just post it on Instagram and use the hashtag MissyTimcoArtChallenge. And if you even just try it at all, you'll be entered to win a gift card. So I'll be giving away a gift card every week, and that's the one for this week. So you are welcome to follow up with me anytime. My email is missy@missytimco.com. I also have a lot of time on my hands, and I love talking on the phone. So you can give me a call. It's 412-559-3889. And I want to thank you so much for coming today, and I can't wait for our next class. Thanks.